Managing your emotional smarts like a champ. To sum things up, how do you manage your emotional states so you always come out on top? Follow the advice below. Always be aware of your emotional state. Regardless of whether your emotional state is socially acceptable or not, be aware of it. You're not trying to apologize for it. You're not trying to make it go away. Just be aware of it. If you're feeling angry, take ownership of that anger. If you're feeling lustful and horny, take ownership of that. The key here is to focus on awareness. It doesn't mean that you completely disagree with your emotional state. This doesn't mean that this is the best emotion to have on display. But if you want to manage your emotions, you have to first choose to be completely honest and be aware. Learn how to read others in the room quickly. Learn how to read other people in the room. You need to do this very quickly. Remember, there is some sort of emotional network happening here. They are sending signals. You are sending signals. And depending on how these line up, there can be chain reactions. This is why it's a good idea to learn what other people are feeling and then go back to your current emotional state. Is there a way you can interpret whatever is triggering you in a more positive way? So you can express whatever you're feeling in a more conducive manner so as to turn the chain reaction around, make the emotional chain reaction work for you instead of against you. Know your triggers. You know that you get emotional when you think of certain things or when you hear certain things. That's okay. There's nothing to apologize for. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. What's important is that you know your triggers. Once you know that certain things trigger you, then you are on notice. You can then proactively choose to interpret it neutrally or even positively. Know how to make your triggered states work for you. Hijack the intense focus that you get when you get triggered. Remember, when you get emotionally triggered, you are focused. It may not seem like it, but you are. Now, here's the thing. Turn that focus around. How? Instead of seeking to be understood or seeking to be made to feel welcome or better about yourself, seek to understand first. Read other people first. Assume their perspective by practicing empathy. Identify how they would view your situation and why they would take this view. Now, this can take anywhere from a few seconds to a full minute or so, but it happens fairly quickly because it's all happening in your head. Be clear about the process. Hijack the intense focus you get when you get emotionally triggered. It doesn't have to end up the same way that it ends up normally. It doesn't have to end up with you feeling bad, not only about other people, but about yourself. If you are able to do this, then you would be able to work with other people's emotional position. You are not there to beat them. You are not there to overcome them. You are there to work with them. Again, this is an emotional network that you're plugged into. Channel your emotional states more effectively. When you first seek to understand, you are more likely to want to seek consensus. It may well turn out that calling people idiots or saying absolutely no to them may not benefit anybody. It may well turn out that simply giving people the benefit of the doubt or giving them at least the opportunity to explain themselves would produce better results. Channel your emotional state. Don't jump to the worst conclusion. Don't always snap into a fight or flight mode. Worst comes to worst, delay things. In other words, deal with it later. But here's the thing, when the time comes, actually deal with it. Don't sweep it under the rug. Finally, when you find yourself with a lot of people and everybody is heated, harness that strong mutual emotion to work towards common goals. You can say to everybody around you, I know we're all tense right now. A lot of us have conflicting demands. But what is it that we can all agree on? Maybe we could use our heightened emotions to work towards the thing we all agree on. Work towards common goals. You'd be surprised at how much you have in common with people that may emotionally turn you off. To be a master, you need to be the facilitator and central point of authority. Make no mistake, it's very easy for a one-eyed man to become a king in the kingdom of the blind. If everybody around you seems to be losing their heads emotionally, seek to be the facilitator. Instead of just another face in the crowd that is just reacting in the worst possible way, practice the steps above and be that eye of the storm. When people look at you, they see calm action. They see somebody who is not reacting, but responding based on their best values. Instead of just being a part of the conflict, you actually become a central point of authority for the resolution of that conflict. This builds up your natural levels of authority and credibility. If you keep this up enough times, people will gravitate towards you. You become a natural leader. People are more likely to listen to you. People are more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt.